of Dayton leaders now calling for change. Dayton's Use of Force Committee will be disbanded. City commissioners voting to replace it with a new advisory committee. Jenny Bork is live for us tonight in Dayton after speaking with a former member of that committee. But Jenny, first, can you break down yesterday's vote?
Dayton City Commission approved to replace the existing Use of Force Committee by a 3-2 vote yesterday. Mayor Mims and Commissioners Joseph and Shaw voted to do the replacement, so they voted for it, and Commissioners Turner Sloss and Fairchild voted against it. The Use of Force Committee was put in place approximately 2 years ago to assist the police reform working group. The goal was to look at incidents when Dayton police used force, analyze them, and recommend ways to change use of force policies. I spoke to Dr. Kevin Watt, a member of the original committee, who says he thinks this change means police reform is taking a back seat.
There was a group of people that put this thing together saying this is what we as citizens of Dayton want. And if what the citizens want should be what we do.
So Jenny, what are some of those changes? What are those changes going to be then?
Well, Elise, all of the details have not been made public yet. It was proposed that this new advisory committee would have 5 members instead of 7, and that they would only meet twice a year instead of quarterly. I reached out to the mayor and the 2 commissioners who voted to approve this new advisory committee but they didn't get back to me. Back to you.
Jenny, thank you. Well, the Dayton Police Department needs your help tonight solving a deadly pedestrian strike. Now, police say during a party at McIntosh Park, 15-year-old Adrian Williams was hit by a car. He later died at Miami Valley Hospital. This all happened as Williams tried to run after shots were fired in the area. Now, 5 months later, police are still searching for leads. Police believe Williams was hit by an orange or red Dodge Charger or Challenger. They're looking for any information or video from that night that could lead them to the driver or the shooting suspect. If you happen to know anything, you are encouraged to call police, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 222-STOP. Dayton police are also sharing the work they've been doing to lessen the number of crashes here in the city. The specific area they've been focusing on is North Gettysburg Avenue. Officers say for years it's been an area of speeding concern. Last October, speed bumps were installed along North Gettysburg to slow drivers down, and police say it's made a difference. In fact, take a look at the numbers. From January to October over the last 5 years, just along Gettysburg, there's been an average of 40 injury accidents. That includes 3 serious injury accidents a year, and 9 people were killed. Now, since the speed bumps were installed, there's only been 18 injury accidents. Only 1 of those have been serious, and no one has died. Police addressed the implementation of those speed bumps earlier today.
You know, we are definitely taking their recommendations, and whenever they see these sort of issues on their roadways, let us know, and we will do what we can to help curb some of the speeds and some of the driving up there.
Police say they've seen speeds over 100 miles per hour. And the city of Hewer Heights providing another update following this week's hack. Now, here's what residents need to know. Forensic evidence has been collected and new network security measures are set to be installed tomorrow. Financial operations are being transferred to a secure off-site cloud-based format, and now you can pay off charges with a credit card again. Hewer Heights was the subject, if you remember, of a ransomware attack over the weekend. Now, it's unknown at this time the scope and even severity of the issue. A state of emergency was declared in an effort to respond to the situation. City leaders are expected to address the ransomware attack tomorrow afternoon. And we now want to give you a live look over the Gem City from our Eco Plumber Skycam. With the holiday season fast approaching, the city of Dayton is getting ready for its annual holiday parade and tree lighting. However, some residents are still feeling a little uneasy after last year's event where a gun was fired during an argument. Today, Lydia Bice spoke with officials on some new security measures.
So there are 2 main security upgrades this year. The first is an earlier start time, so the event will run from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., which means more daylight. The second is an increase in security, including what the Dayton Police Department calls a more visible police presence.
I think individuals are going to see more of a police presence, more visibility of the police officers that are there. Montgomery County sheriffs have offered up additional deputies to help us with that. appearance of more officers being there.
We want to make sure that volunteers, staff, law enforcement officials are all very easily accessible for everyone.
Major Malson says that DPD has conducted numerous interviews with people who were in attendance that night, and police have actually recovered the weapon that was used during that incident last year. Now, they also have a person who is believed to be responsible for that incident, but unfortunately, there's just not enough witnesses or evidence to formally charge that person right now. So again, the event will be from 3 to 8 p.m. right here in Courthouse Square next Friday, November 24th. And it's not just the holiday parade and the tree lighting. There are musical performances, food trucks, a holiday village with lots of crafts, and even a gingerbread house competition where residents can vote on their favorite one. Back to you.
Well, it might be looking like Christmas in the downtown Dayton area, but it's definitely not feeling like it, at least right now anyway.
Yeah, it will feel a little more like it this weekend, and it will feel a lot more like it by
After
next
that.
week. Yes. We got a big shift in our weather pattern, actually. So we're going to see a cold front make its way in. You could already start to see some of this colder air make its way into our the northwest already. You can actually see in Rapid City, it's 27 right now. Of course, it's typically colder there anyway, but you could just see the difference in the colors here with the greens and the yellows still sitting at 60 in Dayton, and that colder air that will eventually make its way into the Miami Valley. So for right now, we are mild 50s and 60s. It's going to stay pretty mild overnight as clouds will be around, and then rainfall eventually will be making its way in too. So with that rain pushing through, plan on showers during the day tomorrow, going to be starting around the late morning, continuing into the afternoon with highs back up upper 50s, lower 60s. I'll take a look at the rest of the week coming up.
Tonight, district officials addressing a community after several students, parents, and teachers were killed in a bus crash.
Wyatt, JD, Caitlin, Dave, Christy, Shannon, we will miss you. But I trust that God will make a way for us to move forward.
The Tuscarawas Valley local school superintendent taking to YouTube after Tuesday's deadly bus crash in Licking County. Now, 3 students, 2 parents, and a teacher were killed when a semi-truck slammed into a charter bus. Those students were on the way to perform in Columbus when that accident happened. The district superintendent now thanking everyone who helped immediately after the accident and the support he's received in the past few days.
While we know we can often be divided on issues or topics, the events of this week shows us how strong our Tusky Valley community really is. That could be said also for Ohio and our entire nation. When we needed them, when we needed you, you all came to support us.
1 student remains in the hospital tonight. Services for the 6 victims are still being planned at this time. The district will provide information on that at a later time. Now, we are seeing some new video from the moments just after this accident happened. ODOT released the video from its camera at I-70 near State Route 310. You can see the smoke and flames just shooting out of the back of that charter bus as first responders worked to put those flames out. The NTSB is now investigating. Preliminary results of the investigation, though, should be released in the next few weeks. And a state-organized group met today to discuss ways to improve bus safety. You might remember this group was formed after a Clark County boy was killed in a bus crash. Members of the group were tasked at looking at all aspects of school bus safety. However, now they plan to take a look at how higher education uses charter buses when transporting students.
We'll compile a list of some of that stuff. We'll disseminate it to the working group members. I want you to take a look at it, and we may take a look at, hey, look, should one of our recommendations be we recommend for schools that are going to use charter buses to transport kids to have these guidelines, or at least to ask these questions.
Now, the group will meet one more time in December. They'll then have to give a report to the governor by the end of the year. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announcing the majority of the $1 million the state will receive from a Dollar General settlement will go to food banks across the state. $750,000 will go to organizations to purchase and give out food and personal care items. This after investigation revealed the stores would be charging more at the register for items than what was displayed on shelves. Yost explained his reasoning for giving the money to the food banks.
So it's a little bit tough, right? I mean, the refunds would be $1 or $6 or $7, and a lot of people, we wouldn't be able to identify who they were. that got ripped off. So the money's going to go to the food banks in these local communities.
Every county in the state will receive at least $1,000. County auditors will decide what organization will get the funding. Hundreds of local leaders and residents coming together today to address food insecurity in Montgomery County. Today was the 13th annual Food Summit, which focuses on sharing insight on hunger statistics and steps to make solutions. In Montgomery County, more than 66,000 people are food insecure, and 22,000 of those are children.
They're suffering through different things. They're homeless. Their jobs don't pay well. You know, their children are sick. There's just all kinds of issues, and this is another thing we're addressing too. So it's a wide spectrum here of different situations, but you know, we're just doing our best to try to get good, healthy food into these individuals. So when these kids go to school, they're not hungry.
5 people were also recognized as Food Champion Award winners, leading the way to ensure the community is food secure. Well, the Montgomery County Township Association hosting their annual holiday celebration and awards gala tonight. I had the honor of emceeing the event. This is the 3rd year for the awards ceremony. The awards are given to those who work hard and are dedicated to their township and work.
I think sometimes it just goes by the wayside if you don't do this. You just get so caught up in day-to-day business, and I'm not aware of it being something that's done individually in a township. So we thought that this would be a good way to start this recognition.
In all, 10 people were honored tonight, and the association swore in a new president along with other officers. A judge declaring a mistrial for one of the former officers involved in the raid that killed Breonna Taylor. What a jury could not decide on, and what decision prosecutors will have to make. And Jim Harbaugh will not fight the Big Ten's decision to suspend him. This as his football team faces allegations of cheating. Coming up, we explain what this could mean for Michigan's matchup with Ohio State.
And we have a cold front and rain on the way. I'll let you know how cold we'll get behind the front. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
We're following major college football news from Ann Arbor. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh is not going to go to court on Friday. Matt Digby now joining us live in studio. So, Matt, what does this mean and what just happened?
Well, you might remember it's been about a week only since the Big Ten ruling that Jim Harbaugh would be suspended for the Wolverines' final 3 games of college football's regular season. The university was quick to respond that they would appeal that ruling, but now the decision is they will not appeal. So Harbaugh will not be on the sidelines for this Saturday's game at Maryland, nor for the game against Ohio State on November 25th. Now, there had been a hearing planned for Friday morning at the Washtenaw County Courthouse. That's where Ann Arbor is located, but the case has been formally dismissed. Sharon Moore will continue as acting head coach for Michigan the next 2 weeks. As of now, Harbaugh slated to return for the Big Ten championship game if Michigan makes it that far. As it stands, whoever wins Ohio State and Michigan in a week and a half would advance to Indianapolis.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed this beautiful, mild, and sunny weather of these past few days because things are about to change. We got cloud cover building in, and eventually we have rain making its way in, and then we're tracking that colder air. So already having an overcast sky across the Miami Valley, you can see showers starting to develop through parts of Illinois, even a couple of showers back off in Indiana. As this cold front makes its way in, showers will become more widespread during the day tomorrow, and then we'll start to see that colder air slide in. So pausing this here at about 6 a.m., you can see southeastern counties on the quieter side, but we start to see that rain really begin to take over by the late morning hours. This is about 8 a.m., so rain making its way through, likely going to be a wet morning commute, and we'll continue with those showers for the late morning. Around lunchtime, it does look like a lot of the rain will be out by tomorrow afternoon and evening with colder air settling in, talking about highs only in the upper 40s by Saturday.
A judge declaring a mistrial in the former trial of former officer Brett Hankinson. Hankinson is one of the Louisville officers who fired a stray bullet in the raid that killed Breonna Taylor. A jury was deadlocked on civil rights charges. Hankinson fired 10 shots into her apartment in a botched drug warrant search in 2020. Those shots didn't hit anyone. Hankinson could appear in court again for a retrial, but that's up to federal prosecutors. And a California jury found David DePape guilty of attacking Paul Pelosi in his home last October. DePape told the court he was looking for then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi when he broke into the couple's San Francisco home. The jury found DePape guilty of assaulting the immediate family member of a federal official, and of attempted kidnapping. He could face a maximum of 30 years in prison on the first charge and 20 years on the second. Thanksgiving just 1 week away, and this means millions of people will be flying home for the holiday. Dee Dee Gatton breaks down how this year's travel could be record-breaking.
AAA expects 4.7 million people will fly over Thanksgiving, the highest number of Thanksgiving air travelers in 18 years. It's also an increase of 6.6% compared to 2022, as lawmakers work to prevent a government shutdown. Back in September, before the last threat, the White House said air traffic controllers and TSA officers working without pay could potentially lead to significant delays and longer wait times for travelers at airports across the country, like there were during previous shutdowns.
But what's really compelling about Thanksgiving is that people tend to align their travel days more with a single day, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, also the Wednesday ahead of Thanksgiving. Because airfares are cheaper this year than they were the same time last year, we're seeing a lot of people say, you know what, we're willing to go for it and book that airfare.
Still, AAA expects most Thanksgiving travelers will drive to their destinations. Reporting for the National Desk, I'm Dee Dee Gatton.
A live look right now from over downtown Troy tonight. Looking a lot like Christmas out there. Not yet feeling like it, though.
Beautiful shot out there right now. Beautiful evening, feeling very comfortable, but we got some big changes on the way. We got some rain that's going to make its way through, which is much needed at this point. We have moderate drought, or we were under moderate drought a few weeks ago. Now abnormally dry, but this has actually expanded just a little bit more to the south. The latest update just came in today, so we're still in need of some rain. We're in a deficit for the month as well as for the year. And with rainfall in the forecast tomorrow, expecting rain mainly for the first half of the day. We're expecting about 1/4 of an inch, maybe getting some localized spots up to about 1/2 inch of rainfall. So good soaking rain on the way, but I'll have a look at the rest of the week and the weekend with our 7-day coming up.
14 children officially becoming members of their forever families tonight ahead. How today is putting the spotlight on adoption and how you can help children in need. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. It is National Adoption Day in Montgomery County. 14 kids now have families to care for them. That matches last year's record-breaking number. National Adoption Day is an effort to raise awareness of the need to find families for the more than 115,000 children in the U.S. foster care system waiting to be adopted. In Montgomery County, there are about 100 kids in need of a foster family.
I think any given time there's 100 kids that need fostering that would lead to an adoption, so there's always about that number. There's always a constant scramble and a need, but Children's Services honestly does a fantastic job in putting out those fires and putting those kids either in a temporary placement or a forever home.
If you're interested in fostering, you can go to mcohio.org and click on Children's Services. There you can find all the information to start the process. And Michael's House is celebrating 15 years of serving Greene County today. Michael's House is a child advocacy center designed to promote healing in child abuse cases. The center allows kids who've experienced abuse or neglect to come into a child-oriented space to tell their story, hopefully only one time, instead of repeating the trauma.
It's something really remarkable to have that this community continues to support a different kind of life for the kids of Greene County, and that we're able to count on our community members to, through their generosity, to continue to keep our doors open so we can give those kids the services that they deserve.
Now, the center just hired a prevention outreach specialist to start a prevention program to reduce the number of children enduring abuse. Well, the 50-foot tree at the Greentown Center in Beaver Creek is now lit. The center celebrated with a parade featuring Santa's arrival, plus a reindeer petting zoo. It was really some great holiday fun for everyone and in the perfect place to kick off that holiday shopping, of course. Well, the Dayton Flyers getting a big win against an SEC opponent ahead. The shot that helped UD put away LSU. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.